Hello and welcome to the Patrick Chapman Show. I'm Patrick Chapman, and here we go. So this is my second episode, let's say, and I'm running a little bit later than I wanted to. I wanted to get this out about 5 hours ago, but the best laid plans of mice and men gang after glee. Yeah. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is this story quickly. So I always want to say 10 years ago because it just fits somehow, even though it might have been 15 years ago, and I think it probably was more like 15 years ago. I was riding my bike to work early in the morning, like the sun wasn't quite up yet, or maybe it was just getting light in the sky, and I'm riding along the levee of the river, and so it's dark, no people out. There might have been snow on the ground. I don't remember now. But I hear this loud splash in the river, like really loud. And I'm thinking maybe a fish jumped, but that doesn't make sense because there aren't fish that big in that river. And fish don't just jump. I mean, they do and they don't. You know what I mean? But to make that splash, it maybe something jumped in the river from the edge. It was kind of a mystery. So I go to work, I do my work, go home, etc. And a few days later, the exact same thing happens. And now I know what it is. Or I don't know, I don't remember now the order of the story, but I think it was the second time I heard it. Or it might have been the other time where there was another day when I'm riding back home and I see a tree, and the tree is standing as a tree does, except it's halfway bitten out. Again, I got the backward camera thing. So it's like, there's a big chunk of it halfway out where the beavers had been eating it, chewing it up. So, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, nah. But sure enough, it was a beaver eating tree. And then I noticed around there were others that had fallen, and eventually they built a dam. But so that was cool. It's like that was a beaver slapping its tail on the water both times. That was cool. I didn't see the beaver, and I've never seen a beaver just out in the daytime. They're nocturnal, but they're around here now, all around the city, in the ponds and the river, and they're all over. So, and I think that's a good thing because I love nature, but it's also, if you're a landowner or something, or you have a reason to not like the beavers, they can do a lot of destruction too. So it's a balance, what do you do with the beavers if they're a nuisance or they damage your property? So I don't know. I have a suspicion that somebody secretly removed them, but they're back. I think it's an ongoing struggle to remove them, and then they come back and they reproduce and grow. But so officially, I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, so that's the beaver. So the reason I'm talking about that though today is that I went out for a walk with my older son and my daughter. We went for a long walk, although I was supposed to go to football practice today. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I had to take the day off because last night, because we're having camp this week. I play on a football team, and it's a long way away, and we're called the Jaguars. Good team, but I don't want to talk about that right now. I just want to say I didn't go to practice, and I regret that, but I just couldn't today. We'll come back to that later. So we go for a walk. I told him I got to walk slowly because I'm hurting. And we ended up going for a really long way out to what I call the Wild West. And it is kind of wild. And so, sure enough, around the pond or small lake, you can see beaver activity. One night, as this little side story, because I never see the beavers, I've rarely actually seen a beaver. Not even a dead one on the street, actually. But one night a couple of years ago, my son decided he wanted to go see a beaver. So we specifically went out on our bicycles as the sun went down, quite late, because it was, I think, spring or maybe summer, warm out. But the evenings are late then. I mean, you can't go out early. It's still light out. The beavers aren't up yet. So we went out. I remember we saw bats. Bats are common. We always see bats, and that's fun. So the bats are already out, and we're looking down at the river, and we see one. We just got a glimpse of one swimming in the river, and that was it. That's all we wanted. So we waited for it. We got it, and we went home, and that was the end of that story. But so we can say we have seen a beaver. So we go for our walk, and we love looking at birds. Also, we're kind of fans of birds now, and we see in English it's called cormorant, and in Polish it's almost the same. It's cormoran, and it's for us it's a cormorant. But I don't know if you would know that. Is I would never know the name of it. It's this kind of bird, kind of goofy looking. I was thinking like a loon or something because we saw it flying around, and obviously a water bird, but it perched itself way up at the top of a tree. And this is the kind of bird that you might have seen the Chinese use for fishing. And it's got the long beak. It'll go down, catch a fish, but it's got the rope around its neck, and it'll come up with the fish, and then put them down, and they naturally goes out and catches another fish. Anyway, very cool to see that bird. I had not seen one of those around here previously, I don't think, or maybe I had and I didn't know what I was looking at. So we walked pretty far, and the weather was not perfect, but I love this time of year because however bad it gets, you know it's gonna get better, and everything's out in front of us. You know, the whole spring. It's technically still winter, and it was a little windy today and a little coldish, but not bad. Later, we saw two cranes, and it was cool because we're kind of looking at nothing out in nature, but everything's brown still. There's no real green yet, and we just see these two. We hear them first. We heard them squawking, and I said, "What's that?" And ZB says, "It's cranes," and the cranes come flying right over, and they swirl and turn and go and land not far from us, but they're blocked by some bushes, really thick, big bushes. So, but we could hear them, and they kept squawking. I'm like, whoa! And they're very, very loud. That was cool. That's probably the coolest thing we saw. Then, next thing we saw that was cool was, besides the usual things like ducks and whatnot, we saw a woodpecker, which are not uncommon around here, but it's always nice to see one anyway. And usually you hear it before you see it. So we saw a woodpecker and watched that for a while. Yeah, and that was today. So anyway, it was a good walk, and here we are. So the next thing I want to talk about is this football, because I want to tell the story of how this started. It was 7 years ago, almost exactly, when my son was in the music school, and I think we had gone to like a recital or something. I don't remember if he played or we watched something else. I think it was him who played on his bassoon that he was learning. And while we're there, my wife got a text message on her phone from her sister, and it was just an announcement that there would be a meeting the next day. The next day was Sunday in March, so almost exactly 7 years ago. And it would be a meeting for people interested in playing football. And I'm thinking, and it had the location, the time and the location, 12 o'clock noon, such and such a place, and no more information. And I'm thinking, well, if I go there, who is it? Who's supposed to go? Like, is it for children or adults, or are we going to just sign a document that says, put us on a list, or are we going to actually start exercising? I'm like, I don't know what to expect when I get there, So I brought my kid along with me, and he was 10 at the time, and I was 53. And not really in good shape either. And so we go, and there's snow on the ground. It was just, it had snowed, and it was like that frozen snow, not fresh, but just snow. About, I don't know, this much maybe, and it was walkable though. It's not far. We walked. I even brought my football. Is it up there? I got a couple of balls. Yeah, I got one old football that was brought to me by my friend when he visited years and years before that, and this is already 7 years ago, and I still got the same ball. It's a very old ball. It's almost like an antique, but I still got it. So I brought my ball just to show, hey, I know something about football, and also you never know how many balls they're gonna have there if they even have one. I don't know. It's like football in Poland, right? So I go with my son, and we're ready for anything, right? But it's always a shy situation when you got to when you got to go up to a group of strangers and say hi. I'm here and here I am. I don't like that. And the thing about being shy is everybody is shy. Now there are some people who are shy, but there's nobody who's not shy. You just got to give him the right situation and he will be shy. I think that's my belief. Maybe there are exceptions. It's hard to imagine some people being shy, but I think in most situations, or for most people, in some situations, they will be shy. So this is a shy situation for me. Well, I don't, it's a group of strangers. We're gonna speak Polish. You gotta shake everybody's hand, but I do that. We walk up, we shake hands. Everybody shakes hands. Hi, how you doing? Blah blah blah. And we wait around for a while. Finally, the guy that's running the thing, gets us to, I don't know, I don't remember what we did exactly, run in a circle maybe, or do some stretching. And then, so it looked like, okay, we're going to do some actual exercises here. We're not just putting our names on a list. And they tested us in certain things, like the standing long jump and running I don't know, the 40-yard dash maybe on snow in my snow boots. With my glasses on. So it was not a fast 40-yard dash for me. And yeah, so they took all the results of those, and I don't know even what they did with them, just kept them somewhere on file. And then at the very end, after doing all these exercises, we actually tossed a football where the guy, we would run a little 10 and in, maybe like a 10 and in, and then he would throw us the ball. And I think I caught my ball, if I remember. I don't remember, but I fell down. I know I slipped on the cut. I slipped in the snow, fell, glasses bent, falling off. Put them back on, stand up, catch the ball, toss it back, and that was it. I think we did that once even, and that was it. And then we agreed to meet the next week. So that was the start of my football career in Poland, and that was great. But what was weird is ZB and I are walking home, and the car pulls up, after we'd walked 10 minutes or so, the car pulls up alongside us and parks, and a guy gets out. He's one of the football guys. He's the guy running the thing, and he talks to me, and he says, "Are you going to really play?" And I said, "Guy, I'm 53. I don't know if I'm going to play football. I don't know if you want me, I would like to. If you can use me, I'm here. Yeah, but I understand if you don't. I didn't know what this was about, if it was for kids or something." And then I don't remember if it was there or the next week, but I think it was there. He asked me to be the quarterback. And any team that needs me to be the quarterback is probably not the team you want to play on. But I mean, my jaw dropped. That was a jaw drop, like being asked to be the quarterback of a football team. And it all happened in like so fast. We got that text message. The next day we're there, and in a few minutes I'm the quarterback. So a week goes by before we meet again, right? And that guy never showed up again, by the way. I don't even know what his name was. He organized the thing, and then it was kind of left to the rest of us. And then one of our teammates took over basically, and he became the captain and the leader. And he's a good guy. And most of the core of this team had been the core of a team in Lubin, which is not far away, and they were the Lubin Warriors. and they for some reason they disbanded. They had some disagreement or something with some, I don't know, inter team disagreement, and they decided to try to form a team in Legnica, and that's where this all came from. So this group of guys had already played, I don't know how many years, at least a year, one season, maybe two or three, I don't remember. They wanted to make a team in Legnica, which is a little bit bigger city, and that's where this came from. So here we are, and here I am. I go the next week, and I'm doubtful that they were serious about me being quarterback. And so I'm like, let's play it by ear, see what happens. I'll kind of stay in the back like I do, and I'm not going to self promote myself too much, but I'll do anything. I'll play whatever you want me to play. And so we do our warm up exercises, and then we get a ball and we start, running patterns just to warm up and practice catching. But before we do that, they say, well, "Are you going to be the guy throwing?" I'm like, "Because you're the quarterback." And I'm like, "Okay, okay." And so I threw the ball, and it was a lot of fun. And then from then on, I was the quarterback. Now there was another guy, Shishak, and he was great because he really was the quarterback. He was way better than me, but he didn't. So we kind of had two quarterbacks, him and me, but he always promoted me to be the starter. I don't know why he did that because he was a good guy, but I think somehow he backed off and let me take the lead position, which was fine with me. But I mean, he was an athlete, like, and he could throw the ball. So, but it ended up being really fun. And we tried for at least a year to get a team going, but you need sponsors for money, and you need guys. And we didn't quite have enough guys. We had plenty of guys like me, small, kind of fast, skinny, but you need big guys, and you need more than just one or two of them. You need about eight, like fatties, like big guys. And we had a few, and then you take your kind of big guys and you try to squeeze them in, and you take, but you can only do so much. We didn't have enough guys. So after training, and we even had some scrimmages, we had a couple of scrimmages with other teams, and we had a camp where we went for one long Saturday and just ran and did exercise and split up into different groups, like the quarterbacks over here and the receivers over there and whatnot. That was for a whole Saturday, and that was a lot of fun, very intense. And then you're exhausted by it's like boot camp or something. What I imagine to be boot camp. So that was a good time. So nothing really happened. We never really got a team going where we could actually join the league and play games. So we joined another team in Świdnica, and we combined our team with theirs. Not all of our team, because not all the guys wanted to continue, but the core of the group went there. We had a good team there, and then I was still quarterback, which was weird. But now I had gone from a big fish in a small pond to a smaller fish in a bigger pond, because this was a better team. They already had a good quarterback. They had two quarterbacks, in fact, and I was the third one. And so, okay, but I just love running around, playing, and you can fill in at receiver and just to get some running in if you want, or do whatever, play a little defense maybe. And we had a great time, and we actually played some seasons. But now I was an American citizen, and the league wouldn't let me play because I was an import. So that was my motivation to get my Polish citizenship so I could play football. That's the only reason I got it. So now I am a Polak as of a few years ago. And I got that thing so that I could play. And there are other benefits to it too. So I'm a dual citizen. So, and then that team disbanded. For one reason or another, we lost a couple of good players, and it wasn't sustainable for the moment. And it looks like that one will never reform again. So then I went at least a year, I think maybe 2 years, with doing almost nothing in regards to football. And then I got the chance to go to this other team, with a guy with a car from my city, and so he drove, and I went with him last summer. So we played in the summer league, but then he quit, and I ended up having to take the train. So it's a big time commitment. And so what happened today was yesterday. So today was our second camp with our team. We're getting ready for the new season. And in the summer league, we played with 9 men on the field. So it's 9 against 9 on the field, which kind of lightens it up a little bit, gives you a little more room to run, and it's just not quite as serious. Now we're playing with the 11-man league, so you got 11 on the field for each team, and it's a little bit more serious. I'm not quarterback. I'm a receiver, and I'm not anywhere near the starting receiver at my position. We play with usually four wide receivers, and I'm like, if the whole team shows up, I'm like fourth string. But I still love it. I just love being there and running and catching if I do catch it, and trying to remember my routes, which is really a bad feeling. It really, talk about being shy. It really hurts your confidence when you go up to the line and you don't really know your route. it's, it's hard to run the right. It's hard to run the route with confidence when you're not sure if it's the right route. But it's fun, and I'm trying to learn it, and it's just fun. It's just fun. So yesterday, so okay, during the league last summer, I ended up pulling a muscle. I don't remember which one I pulled first, because then I pulled another muscle, and then I pulled a third muscle. By the end of the season, I had 3 pulled muscles: hamstring, groin, and calf. It's like 3 pulled muscles. So, and I think the problem there was just not drinking enough water. I think you get dehydrated, and you don't know it. You would think you'd get thirsty, and they're always telling us, "Oh, you got to be hydrated. Drink, drink, drink." And so you do kind of, but you don't really want to because you're not thirsty. But I think you got to force yourself to, and I think that might have been why I got the pulled muscles. I don't know. Or it could be some deficiency in like calcium, or what's the other one? Potassium, I think. One of those micronutrients. So I didn't get on the field a lot, but it was still fun to be there. And hope springs eternal, and here we go. So now we got this weekend. We had another camp. We had one 2 weeks ago, and that's where I talked about that Saturday one with the old team. That was an all day Saturday thing, but this camp is more like you go Friday night as usual. We always practice on Friday nights, and then all day Saturday, let's say a long chunk of Saturday, and then another long chunk of Sunday. Well, on Saturdays yesterday, we had the first practice, which went well. Like our normal practice, about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Then we had a nice long break where we ate together out on the field, kind of with sandwiches or whatever you had. And then we went inside and had a meeting, just talking and kind of shooting the bull. And then we went into another room where the offense separated from the defense, and we watched films of our practices to see what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. So that was a nice kind of break where we're not really running around. And I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to admit to my laziness. But we went back out to the field, and by that time it was dark and it had gotten colder, and I'm still a little bit wet with the sweat, so a little wet, tired already because we had already gone through a whole practice, and there were pretty serious practices, a lot of running. So I'm not loving it. It's like there is a point where it's a little too much. So, but we go through our warm-ups again. We run around the field first in a circle, and then we go through warm-up drills to get warmed up and stretched out. And I could feel one thing, I was not enthusiastic about it. And so when you're not enthusiastic, you don't do it right, or with much, you just don't do it as well as you should. And I probably didn't get warmed up enough. I mean, I know I didn't, and I could feel myself. I'm like, I'm not ready. I need to really get warmer and get my muscles going, but mentally I'm kind of like lazy. So we're doing our drills. The quarterback's throwing to us. We're catching. We're running different routes or whatever. And then, yeah, I'm running a route, and it's a cross. And this is what I'm talking about. But with not being confident at the line, when you think you know your route, and then it turns out you're wrong. We're running a cross, and to me, cross means the S receiver goes 10 and out. So I always remember cross out. Cross out. That's easy to remember. Cross out. I run out. But that's only if we're running to the right side and I'm on the right. If I'm on the right and we're running to the left, then I'm the guy crossing the field, or one of two guys, I think. And so and the coach is looking at me like, "Do you know your route?" And I'm said, "Yeah, I go at 10 and out." He says, "No, you run cross. That's why it's called cross." And then I feel stupid. So, and I can't do it with this camera because it shows the opposite of what I'm supposed to do. But this, and then up, and then again this. So it's like slant, up, slant. And I think it was when I hit that second slant, I felt the pull in my left hamstring. And I made the catch, though. I kept running and made the catch. Felt good about that because it's a little iffy with me. and and then I had to tell the coach I just pulled a muscle, and I was done for the day. And I felt bad because, I just, there's only one guy in my position then. He had to do all the work. I couldn't participate in anything else the rest of the day. We did the red zone. We did the red zone, and I didn't get involved in that. And then today, what I really miss is that, and it's probably over by now, they were going to have an inter-team scrimmage where the offense plays a real game against our own defense. Simulated game, let's say, but with game conditions. I don't know if they did kickoffs or not. Maybe yes, maybe no, but I wanted to be there for that. And in theory, you're supposed to go anyway and stand on the sideline and watch and get what they call mental reps. The problem is that I got a family, and it's far away. It's a 2-hour trip to get there, another 2 hours coming back, plus the time you're there. It eats up the whole day. And I had been there all day yesterday. And if I'm not going to actually play in the action, I can't justify being that far, that long away from my family. So, and also I'm not ready for work tomorrow. I got to get ready for work. I got a big week, which is good news because I got plenty of work. So that's what I got to do. Right. Oh, this has gone on longer than the last one. Good. I don't know if anybody's interested in that football stuff, but I am. So there you are. And I think that's all I want to talk about. I got a couple other things. I was going to tell a small world story, but I think I'll save that for next time. And we'll cut this off a little quick here. I've been asked to do 2 shows a week. I think I'll try to do that because I like doing this. This is kind of fun. Maybe I like the sound of my own voice too much. And also, I see I get to talking, I forget to drink my coffee, and now it's going to be Luke. All right. Okay. So I'll try to get another one of these in the week sometime. I don't know when because I'm pretty busy, but I'm gonna do it. So, and I'll try to be more consistent on the timing. I make no promises, but I also make no apologies because it's my show. All right, guys. See you next time. Bye.